Series of beliefs, restore me as a chief. Record me underneath and hold me up to see. We're more than memories, much more than falling leaves. No longer begging pleas or praying on my knees. There's more to history than superficial victories. Your kisses unseen flow through my bloodstream. The blood is rushing, there must be something. Just do this one thing, reach out and touch me. Your love is awfully delicate, hug you for the smell of it. Trust our building element, don't hasten its development. I can't believe you're feeling me, love is what you're telling me. I fell for you unwillingly and now your love is killing me. Your hands are all too innocent, schemes to make it intimate. Dreams of you play into it, seems these days are different. I can't believe you're feeling me, love is what you're telling me. I fell for you unwillingly and now your love is killing me.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Light Radio. Today is December 17th, 2023. And it's a beautiful day. Really a beautiful day. So, and yesterday I woke up very refreshed. Had some decent recollection of my dreams, and I know I dreamt quite a bit. And this morning, I did have a lot of dreams as well. However, I did not retain any recollection of any dreams by the time I shoveled myself out of bed. I was able to wake up early enough to spend some time sitting and meditating in bed and more or less just doing some breathing exercises, and it felt quite nice, and I felt quite refreshed. And I got a cup of some mate tea with some peppermint, and then I added a splash of kombucha for some reason. But yeah, it's a hell of a way to kind of get the day started. I hope your day's going good. And if it's not going good, let's try to find a way to turn that around. I was considering a series of questions like, okay, what series of questions or discussion would help to revitalize somebody to make the most out of their day? And I guess I was kind of thinking about this because I was in a situation where there was a get-together, and it was kind of like a group of friends, and I was I didn't really know most of the people, which is cool, and I'm not a shy person whatsoever, and I could intermingle and have fun anywhere. But I was just thinking to myself, what could you talk to people about? What type of it? And it kind of came in a strange thought process. What could you ask people that could really help them to be revitalized? That would maybe help to direct some energies in a more positive way than maybe they were already being directed, or maybe help to move away from some of the negative buildup. Just a fun thought. I don't feel like I have a great answer. I have done some kind of motivational recordings for myself But I haven't done them for a while, and I haven't made any new ones for a very long time. But what I found to be somewhat helpful was to kind of ask myself um, kind of like goal-oriented questions. Like, what are 3 things that you'd like to achieve today? What is a way that you can positively impact someone else's life today? What motivates you to do your best work? What does you operating at your best look like? Just stuff like that. Something, something that kind of gets our brain thinking clearer, trying to have more of a being actually prepared for what's to come throughout our day. Oh, wow. I got one nostril operating at the moment, and I'm pretty content with that because 50% is much better than 20% or 0% in this regards. Yeah. Where's the camera? Over there? There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of interested, like, to know what type of rituals people have in the morning to feel good, to work hard, to be engaged, to remove distractions of the mind, to maybe be prepared for a personality that is somewhat challenging for whatever reason. You know, some people may have a hard time with somebody who's goofing around a lot. Other people may love that, and it helps their day be excited. Some people may find themselves surrounded by a lot of kind of negativity and frustration. And so we have to find a way to power ourselves up in a way where that's not going to be the overwhelming mode of our own day. In a way, I kind of think back to some of the talks that Ram Dass does. He's a psychologist, and he went to India and found a guru and trained in meditation and other things. And he has written a few books at least. He's moved on, by the way, and I remember, he has a chapter in one of the books that I read. I think it's called "The Only Dance There Is." A great book. I consider it a must-read, and I read through that book very slowly because I wanted to digest as much as I could. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like eating, where I know if I eat real fast, I can get a lot of food in quicker, but that doesn't feel as nutritious and good, and it doesn't feel like it's being processed the way that it should. And so sometimes with books that I'm aiming to get more nutrients from, vitamins, minerals, proteins, whatever, I might take my time and read nice and slowly. And so in this book, he talks about being a psychologist, and he formulates his ideas on really what makes a good psychologist. And there was a poignant, I would say, conclusion, which was not becoming attached to the mechanisms, emotional or otherwise, that were disturbing the patient. And so a lot of the times when we are operating in our everyday life, which can be at home, which can be with our children, our wives, our husbands, girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, co-workers, customers, business partners, whatever. We can be with those people without giving force to the pendulums of distraction that they may be experiencing, to the pendulums of trauma, as a practitioner of a lot of different belief systems and practices, including meditation and Taoism and Buddhism, and to a certain degree, amongst other things. One of the experiences I look forward to having is not being judgmental and not conceptualizing and especially unnecessarily, and not believing that my conceptualizing is in fact any truth, or is the very nature of truth, or is the very nature of reality. Yeah, that sounds strange, right? Or basically not getting involved with falsehoods, and in fact getting uninvolved, in my case, with the many falsehoods that I am already kind of strung up by. And in the Ram Dass book that I was, mentioning, he gives a great example when he's with his father after his mother passed away, and of course his father is melancholy, and I'm sure you're aware, what happens with people is they continuously repeat an action or a story. And a lot of the times you'll see that repetition in a negative form, something that bothered somebody, someone who may have hurt them or offended them, or they felt, infringed on maybe a more comfortable life, or whatever it may be. And his father, so he goes to spend time with his father after his mother's passing, and he talks about his father loving to make jam, and so he asks his father if they can make some jam together, and they do so. And as they're making jam, Ram Dass's father, kind of sways into the negative storytelling. And I guess the point, another point is, when you're within this kind of storytelling, and I would have to say unvirtuous storytelling, just to try to open up some space, what happens is your vision is diluted and your ability to because the body does not heal itself very well when it's in a negative space. When it needs positive ions for healing, and it's producing negative ions or attracting, whatever the case is, I don't know. And as his father goes into these rants, he simply, Ram Dass uses a strategy to help his father refocus on the moment. And of course, it's a good example that he uses making jelly, something that his father enjoys very much. And so he can say, "Hey, Dad, do I keep stirring this?" Right? And then his dad can kind of come back from that holding pattern of thought and come down and refuel with the power of the moment. And we can get running low on my tea, so I'm taking little baby sips. And we can, well, before I elaborate, if I should even need to at this point, he also talked about working with patients, and he would often just focus on the area where most of us believe there's a third eye, or the mind's eye, or a point of vision. And when the people are sharing whatever they share, I guess, he would repeat in his own mind, Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah, sometimes these things have a momentum. Well, they always do have a momentum of their own. And it kind of just feels good to be with that momentum and to be in that part of that energetic movement. And so his patient is explaining or talking, and he's looking at them, in this space here, Honey Padme Hum. And what he explains from that is that this mantra, try to say a little fancy, this mantra is there while everything else is moving, is passing by, coming and going. The mantra is there. So it sounds to me like a practice to remove ourselves from that strange attraction to judge or even to get caught up in these movements, emotional or physical. It doesn't seem to me that the spiritual is a judgmental essence. To me, it seems like there is absolutely no need, and there is that can't even exist in that space. All this funny business that we're used to it's for our ego minds, it's for our mortal minds, it's for our benefit to potentially fill ourselves up with some strong negative forces and blow them out to the void, or into a place where it just becomes energy. in many of the, I would call some very inspiring manuscripts. There is deep discussions about duality. And again, based on what I believe at this moment, our spirit is untouched by duality. Our spirit has seemingly nothing to fear. So I sometimes talk about spiritual intervention. And it's a bit of a funny term. As the spirit is the most prominent the essential character, the essential character, or the essence of our being. Now, for whatever reason, we seem to be I'm trying to kind of search around for the right feelings to express. So we seem to created or accepted or whatever, we seem to have this layer of fog that makes it difficult to see with our heart our true nature, our spiritual nature. We have this petty, nagging, whiny, guardsman, that can use so many different avenues to convince us that we're not any of these things, that we're not whiny, nagging, whatever, to convince us otherwise. Yeah, they could have violent outbursts, to show others that we're not cowards. We can study language and large words to show others just how intelligent we are. But the point is, there is a superficial temporary self that is somewhat of a hologram in nature. It's kind of like a diamond that is being hit with light, and that light ray causes or appears a hologram, and that hologram has the ability to think and to manipulate some of its surroundings. And the hologram is futilely doing everything it can to portray its dominance. And so part of the quest is to understand ourselves as the diamond. And there's some people who their experience leads them to believe that the ego goes with you, goes with the spirit, where the spirit goes. And I think that's something interesting to consider. I would say in some of my own experiences, I feel like when I go outwards or inwards, and I'm not sure which direction, right? Not sure that matters. But when I escape the encapsulation of the ego, it's usually the gravity of the ego that pulls me back. And I'm not sure exactly what that means in regards to considering, for instance, if the ego accompanies the spirit after a bodily death. Spiritual intervention. How do we actively experience the purity of spirit. One thing that comes to mind just now is relieving ourselves of the bondage of judgment, would at the very least align us with the essence of spirit that has no need to judge. And the spirit is not concerned so much with preserving its existence. The Spirit gives us hints gives us nudges. And of course, I'm saying this according to my beliefs and my own personal life experience. So, not saying that that's worth a lot to anyone else. I think a lot of people found themselves going into a very negative direction, a very harmful direction to themselves and others, and they had some sort of spiritual intervention that redirected their lives, sometimes very, very subtly, and sometimes profoundly. It's a very common story. In fact, it's the hero's journey. We are heroes in our everyday, simple lives. We can be very important to changing the conscious direction the psychic direction by changing our own psychic direction, our own conscious behavior. And that is huge. That is so big. You don't have to be a public speaker or a famous person to be a hero. You could play music within your own heart. That will bring grace and that can change the tide of our experience. As humans, we have the power to positively improve our existence through our collective consciousness. And since we're a vast network of thought, energy, psychic energy, one beacon of consciousness affects another beacon of consciousness. And we can choose to be slaves to whatever the consciousness of the day is. Or we can be aware of this and start upgrading our own consciousness. Sometimes one painful step at a time. Just depending on what we've grown accustomed to. And we became accustomed to consuming alcohol, watching TV, people telling us we're doing a great job. To eating tons of food, to nagging about our spouses, some of these things are difficult to replace. I kindly thank you for considering even contemplating what you can do, what I can do to change the tide, to usher in something much more beautiful. And you can watch it unfold right before your own eyes in very impactful ways. Even if you're somewhat isolated. Well, God bless you. Oh, thank you very much. Amen. Aho, mahalo. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. Make it a great one.